LeBron James is going home to Cleveland, where are the rest of the NBA's free agents going? I'm Mike Sherman, Sports City Oklahoman, here with a Thunder update. Joining me to make sense of the rest of the free agency and as it pertains to the Oklahoma City Thunder is our Thunder beat writer, Anthony Slater. Anthony, now that LeBron has made the decision everybody was waiting for, what does this do for everybody else, specifically the Thunder?
Well, I mean, it provides a little bit of clarity as far as, he's the big chip. But at the same time, it kind of muddles some other stuff up. Suddenly Miami, I mean, obviously they're not attractive as far as, a guy like a Pau Gasol going to Miami, but they got a ton of money to spend. So Lance Stevenson, all that. But as far as from a Thunder perspective, I don't know how much this affects Pau's decision, because I think if you look at the teams that are really after him, San Antonio, Chicago, the Thunder, the Lakers even, they weren't after LeBron. They never were really in the running for LeBron. So I think Carmelo's decision as far as does he go back to New York, does he go to Chicago and take the money that they could have given Pau away, or, if he goes to New York, can Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher lure Pau to New York? I think what he does ultimately is going to affect Pau and then affect the Thunder, because that's really the only big guy the Thunder are really looking at in free agency.
If we're reading tea leaves, Anthony, it sounds like there's a report today that Carmelo Anthony will not consider the Lakers, which, unless Pau wants to go back to Los Angeles with a rebuilding team, might close that door for Pau Gasol, meaning that the Thunder's competing with Chicago, New York, and San Antonio. Which of those teams do you think has the best chance of landing Pau Gasol?
I would say it's, if we're talking about, he had those comments with, ESPN about worried about the cultural diversity of Oklahoma City. But, I mean, I think that'd be the same issue in San Antonio. So I think San Antonio and Oklahoma City, to me, are about the same. And I almost think Pau would prefer Oklahoma City as far as playing time and the guys he's playing with. He's playing with Serge, who he knows from the national team, a great shot blocker to have behind him. And then two, obviously, dynamic superstars. Playmakers around him. So I think the Thunder, I don't want to say favorites, because I think Chicago can offer more money and they offer a big market. But if he's just looking at winning, I really think the Thunder are still in this thing.
The Thunder, of course, could offer the chance to play with Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, as you said, Serge Ibaka, a teammate from the Spanish national team. Thunder could also offer one other thing to Pau Gasol, which is not the responsibility of having to carry a team. However, Anthony, if the Thunder was to sign Pau Gasol, what does that mean for Kendrick Perkins?
I mean, he might have to be used to get Pau Gasol. I mean, that's a way to get Pau more money. I don't know how much Pau is saying, I need more money. It needs to be a sign and trade. And then as far as Perk goes, are the Lakers even willing? I'm hearing the Lakers weren't willing to get Carlos Boozer in a sign and trade from Chicago unless there was a ton of sweeteners. So, I mean, I would think it'd be the same deal with Kendrick Perkins. We'll see. There's so many moving parts, and like we were mentioning earlier, LeBron's kind of the first domino, but I think we're waiting really on Melo to figure out everything else with Pau.
One more thing on Pau Gasol. Of course, your colleague Darnell Mayberry wrote this earlier this week on News OK and in the Oklahoman. The possibilities of a signing trade involving Kendrick Perkins, whose contract expires next season, right around $9 million. That would be an expiring deal for a rebuilding Lakers team. Then the Thunder could then give Pau a projected $11 million or so a year over 3 years. Seems to be more competitive than what they could offer straight up as a signing as a free agent and competing with the Knicks and the Spurs and perhaps Chicago. Anthony, lessons of LeBron. As you look at what happened, what unfolded here, how he told his own story to Sports Illustrated, his decision to go back, what are some of your takeaways?
I mean, I thought it was moving. It was very interesting. I think they suddenly become, how compelling is Cleveland sports suddenly becoming now? They get Johnny Manziel in the first round, going to the Browns. And now LeBron's coming back. I mean, Northeast Ohio, that's going to be kind of the place to be in sports right now. I thought, it was interesting. It was kind of a look at loyalty, a real look inside. I think he did it beautifully. It's actually interesting because remember how much he was criticized last time for the decision back in 2010? It's almost been flipped on its head this time around, just with kind of how he handled it.
The power of forgiveness, LeBron displayed that. The power of home, he displayed that. And of course, there's the Booby Prize for the Miami Heat. They've gone to the finals 4 straight years, winning 2 with LeBron James. But next year, what looks to be a rebuilding Heat's team will be doing what, Anthony? You tweeted this out a couple hours ago. I thought it was great.
Oh, they'll probably be in the lottery, to be honest.
And that means that doesn't Cleveland hold the Heat's number 1 draft pick next season?
Yeah, they hold, and it's the real ironic part of it. It's from 4 years ago. They hold the pick because it was a sign and trade to get LeBron. That they were figuring, we'll send them a couple first-round picks so they can give LeBron an extra year. Figuring, it's going to be the 30th pick that season, anyways. Now, unless they get some free agents, unless Dwayne Wade kind of finds the fountain of youth, they may be giving the Cavs another high pick to help LeBron in Cleveland down the road.
And could the Cavaliers' streak of great fortune in the lottery continue? Right. They've got 3 of the last 4 number 1 overall picks. Anthony, one of the questions that pertains to the Thunder. The appeal of home for LeBron James was very strong. You got to think, in our nation's capital today, there's a bunch of folks who love the professional basketball team known as the Wizards, who are hoping the same could possibly be true in 2 years for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, a little bit. It's to me, it's a different story because of, obviously, Durant grew up there, but left when he was 18 to go to college in Texas, and then he's lived in Oklahoma City now, 7 years, or he had a year in Seattle and 6 years in Oklahoma City. It's a bit different to me. LeBron grew up in Akron and then plays in Cleveland until he's about 25. And then not only that, he has this huge falling out there with burning jerseys and just how that all went down. So he kind of felt the need to go and get some redemption. Kevin Durant doesn't really owe Washington any redemption. They like him there. He's never done anything to them. So I think that's what makes it different. I'm not saying he's not going back to the Wizards, but I just think it's a completely different scenario.
Plus, Kevin Durant still has a bright future here in Oklahoma City with the Thunder and a young and up-and-coming roster, unlike the Heat. Anthony, thanks.
Yep. Thanks for having me.